Look at this. Look at this. See that? Physically grabbing her, applying pressure, pushing her. Look at Brittany Griner.
New footage has surfaced revealing exactly how Caitlin Clark, the Golden Goose, the ratings juggernaut, the woman who single-handedly dragged women's basketball into the mainstream, got injured. And let me be clear, what we're seeing isn't just disappointing. It's flat-out disgraceful. The WNBA has a bullying problem. And now, its biggest star has become the latest casualty of a league that seems either unwilling or unable to protect its most valuable asset.
Only a player that's worth paying the money for. Caitlin Clark comes along. What do, WNBA? You beat her up. You treat her like crap. You treat her like she's dog doo-doo, dude. I never seen this in any sport, bro. Not even Jordan.
The real tea the league office hopes you never hear. Caitlin Clark didn't just wake up with a quad strain. She didn't stumble over her own shoelaces or pull something during a casual warm-up. Nope, she was methodically targeted, fouled, grabbed, pushed, and worn down by players who looked more like WWE wrestlers than basketball competitors. And the referees? They stood by, watching it all unfold like they were getting paid to turn a blind eye.
Caitlin Clark has been moving in slow motion. As good as she's been moving in slow motion. And it is, it makes sense. It genuinely makes sense. All of this stuff. And you've got Scott Agnes, a reporter, saying that the injury has been bothering her since training camp. So she's been playing. So essentially, she was massaging the area and wearing a pad during the Iowa preseason game. They were saying lower leg injury for some reason. Minor quad strains need 2 to 4 weeks of rest, and they can nag you.
On May 26, 2025, the Indiana Fever confirmed that their superstar guard would be sidelined for at least 2 weeks due to a left quadricep strain. 2 weeks, that's a minimum of 4 games, assuming everything goes perfectly. But anyone with even a hint of common sense knows muscle injuries don't stick to neat schedules. This setback could easily stretch to 3 weeks, a month, or even longer.
People are noting that a grade 1 quad strain is 1 to 2 weeks, a grade 2 quad strain is 3 to 6 weeks, and grade 3s would need surgery. This is not like the end of the world of injuries at all. I think what is so dark about this is that Caitlin Clark will definitely be missing a lot of basketball in a short WNBA season. Obviously, the best thing to do is to rest her so that when she does come back, she is fully healed and the injury can't get worse. Though it is hard to measure when these types of injuries are better, I will say having a quadricep injury is much better than having like a calf injury or a hamstring injury. And I have to say that I did notice in the Liberty game, Caitlin Clark's shots were all very short. So it was showing that she wasn't like getting off and she was having a difficult time making those threes, and a lot of explosiveness from those 3-point shots does come from your legs. Her shot was just so obviously off, and for it to be short, it kind of makes a little sense.
While the Fever tried to brush this off as just another routine injury, the new footage tells a far darker story. The smoking gun reveals exactly what went down during the game against the Atlanta Dream. You know, that game where fans shouted, "You're in Atlanta," like it was some twisted home field advantage for Assault.in. The video. Player after player makes contact with Clark in ways that would make a linebacker wince, grabbing, pushing, and applying relentless pressure. This wasn't about basketball. It was all about intimidation. What we witnessed wasn't a game, but a calculated campaign to take down the league's biggest star. And it happened right out in the open, with no one stepping in to stop it.
Look at this. Look at how physical they are. Now, granted, Caitlin Clark has been in the weight room this season, but I'm telling you right now, there's only so much your body can take, man. Look at how close Ryan Howard playing her. This is crazy. And this is just one video. I got another one I want to show you guys as well.
But here's where it gets truly eye-opening. Multiple sources, including fans who were at the games, have reported that Clark has been using heating pads on her quad during matches for weeks, possibly stretching all the way back to preseason. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. The woman who hadn't missed a single game since 2017, who played 185 consecutive games from Iowa to the WNBA, was literally battling through an injury that demanded heating pads just to keep going. And rather than stepping in to protect her, rather than calling the clear fouls, The referees stood by and let her get mauled night after night until her body finally said enough.
The commissioner's the worst commissioner in sports. She is horrible. She wants rivalries, this WWE style. Like, nobody wants to see that, Kathy. You're a horrible commissioner. You know what? Have some dignity and just resign today. You've ruined this thing. You ruined a great thing. This could be the first time you don't need the NBA assistants to go in the green, but you're going to go in the red this year because you're an idiot. You're stupid, and the fans don't like this shit. We want to see quality basketball. Nobody's asking for Keelan Clark to get a handout. We just want to see some fair refereeing, because these referees from Temu and Wayfair, they're garbage, bro. I've seen better refereeing at a Pee Wee game, bro, at AAU. They suck. And then on top of that, the players, they're just not likable, man. They're not. That's the problem with the league. They're not likable. Keelan Clark.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to hit subscribe. Now, let's get real. The timing of Clark's injury couldn't be worse for the WNBA. Honestly, the league deserves every bit of the financial fallout that's coming their way. Let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie, even if WNBA officials sometimes do. In 2024, out of 24 WNBA broadcasts that drew at least 1 million viewers, 21 featured Caitlin Clark. Games with Clark averaged 1.19 million viewers. Games without her, a dismal 394,000. That's not just a gap. That's the line between a thriving league and a struggling afterthought. We're already seeing the fallout. Ticket prices for the highly anticipated rematch between Clark and Angel Reese have tanked 42%, dropping from an average of $137 to just $80 after the injury announcement. This isn't just a price drop, it's a demand crash happening live. The market is sending a message the WNBA refuses to hear. Clark is the draw. Clark is why people care. And without her, interest vanishes faster than Angel Reese's playoff hopes.
Today, if there wasn't any worry going on in the WNBA executive offices, if there was no worry, oh, people aren't going to turn off, oh, people are still going to show up, if that was the thought that they were having up there in WNBA La La Land, well, now might be the time to hit the panic button. 48 hours after news hits that Caitlin Clark is injured and she'll be missing 2 weeks, the market has responded, and the market has told the WNBA, we don't want this. We want her, but we don't want this. What am I talking about? Indiana Fever ticket prices to games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42% since Caitlin Clark's injury announcement, an average ticket price of $137, all the way down to $80.
Stephen A. Smith hit the nail on the head when he said he's genuinely curious to see how the ratings will hold up without Caitlin Clark over the next 2 weeks. Because if those numbers plummet, and they almost certainly will, it'll lay bare just how much this league depends on one player. The very player they failed to protect. Smith went on to say, if there's a steep drop-off, then everyone needs to step back and acknowledge that the speculation, the assumptions, and the talk about her being the golden goose are completely validated. The most recent Clark versus Reese matchup drew a staggering 2.7 million viewers, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. At its peak, the game hit 3.1 million viewers, Super Bowl level numbers for the WNBA. Numbers they haven't seen since the league's early NBC days, and now? They're about to find out what happens when you take away the one player people actually tune in to watch.
How big of a blow is this to the W?
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is that.
But let's talk about the real crime here, the officiating. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White didn't mince words. She called it egregious, highlighting what she described as unbelievable levels of disrespect toward her team. She cited a staggering -31 free throw differential in recent games and made it clear, we're not just chucking threes, we're attacking the rim. Translation: Caitlin Clark is getting hammered every time she drives, and the refs are letting it happen without a whistle in sight. The final play against the New York Liberty was a perfect snapshot of the larger problem. Natasha Cloud made clear, obvious contact with Clark on the last possession, a call any other star in any other league would have gotten. But not here. The refs stood there and watched Clark get mugged with the game on the line. Clark immediately turned to the officials, shouting in disbelief. Her teammates joined into protest. And the response? Silence. From officials who seem to think WNBA basketball has turned into a full-contact sport, at least when it involves Caitlin Clark. This isn't just bad officiating. This is selective officiating. There's now a clear pattern of Clark being physically targeted, grabbed, shoved, and punished, while refs look the other way. Meanwhile, other stars get the whistle. And that double standard has finally come at a cost: Clark's injury. The footage doesn't lie. Across multiple games, defenders are going out of their way to rough her up, knowing they can get away with it. Because the officiating has sent a message: anything goes when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And her quad strain is just the latest, painful proof of that failure. Here's what makes all of this even more infuriating. Clark had been gutting it out through this injury for who knows how long. The heating pad footage makes it clear. She was dealing with quad issues while still suiting up and delivering elite-level performances. Through the first 4 games of the 2025 season, she was averaging 19.0 points and leading the league with 9.3 assists per game. On one good leg, that's not just toughness. That's superhuman commitment to a league that, frankly, doesn't seem to appreciate what it has. And let's be real, Clark brings far more to the WNBA than just her stats. She's created a cultural phenomenon that transcends sports. Her preseason game against Brazil at Iowa drew 1.3 million viewers, a number only 2 NBA games on ESPN have matched since 2010, both featuring LeBron James. A preseason game against Brazil. Those are numbers that change leagues, that build fan bases, that open up corporate checkbooks. ESPN made the unprecedented move to air a WNBA preseason game for the first time ever, because it featured Caitlin Clark. This season, 41 of the Fever's 44 games are being nationally televised. That's not business as usual.
Anything. This should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating, because the amount of contact that is allowed without a foul call and the amount of physicality that Caitlin Clark has to battle through being double teamed and triple teamed, and honestly, it's mostly just not being called for these fouls, needs to be assessed. Caitlin Clark is the league's star player, whether you like it or not. It shows in the bottom line. It shows in the revenue. It shows in the viewership numbers. Every which way you turn, it shows. And as the league star player, she should not be bullied around or ragdolled, just pushed around like she is. There is an undeniable disparity in the officiating. I mean, think about the Kobe whistle in the NBA. No one touched him without an issue.